I would like to start with an invocation, and then go with the flow. Whatever you feel guided to embrace and integrate today's transmission. I'm not sure exactly who is going to come through, but I will ask for the highest and easiest and best that is according to the ones that are gathering here, and at the same time the ones that will listen to this transmission later. So I would like to invoke each and every one of your higher self in a form of divine feminine together and unify as one. I would like to ask also my higher self in divine form to take over this transmission, and I place Gretel aside. So only the highest and easiest and what is required for today can come through, that will assist all of us, and at the same time it will support everyone else's connection. Let's take a deep breath into your heart and try to sense it. And then when you exhale setting the intention that the energy keeps inside of you. Give me a second. Welcome, Anna, Tanja, Denise, Mara, Nicole, Navi, Sharon. I appreciate, and give me a second. At the same time, while I give you guys a few minutes to settle and adjust, I want to start with the concept of vulnerability. I read the book of Brené Brown about vulnerability, Courage to be Brave, I think is the title, a couple years ago. And I thought vulnerability was, I don't know, crying in Facebook saying everyone, please send healing, I don't know what to do with my life, or something like that. And I remember that when I was little, and I'm going to be vulnerable here, my grandma was the one who raised me, and she was a Leo. She was a very strong person. And she always said to me, don't cry, don't show emotions, because people will know your weakness. You have to always stay like a goddess, right? Pretending like it was all right. And it was the way. I was a very sensitive person, and then I shut down my gifts. And then I purchased the belief of my grandma. And then I shield all emotions. I remember the ones I even went to a funeral. The brother of one of my best friends died. And I saw everyone crying and afflicted and grieving. But I was like neutral because I shut myself to the degree that I wouldn't allow the level of connection, because I didn't want it to be pulled out of what I wanted to express because of someone else's stuff. I don't know if you have ever been at the close to the airport in a situation like that, or maybe you know someone like that. Well, this is me when I was adolescent, I guess. And then I realized that one day, probably when I was like 14 or 15, that I said, I haven't cried in a while. I didn't remember the last time I cried. And after that, it was hard for me to connect, because I shield emotion, not only from me to me, but also from others to me, and also from me to others. I don't know if you, and give me a second, one more person is coming. And I began going through life, and I learned to go through life in that way. I even remember that At some moments, I wanted to connect, but then I forgot how. And it was hard. It was easy to connect with people at normal basis, but not intimate, not about things that were parts of the shadow, things that you heard or you like. I would just superficially address them, and not in a way that I would really go into a depth of connection. But it was in all areas. Hold on, let me drink a little bit of tea. And after that, I had depression because everything went wrong in my life. And then I was crying every day for no reason. Sometimes I would say, I don't know why, I just want to cry. And then I would cry. And at the beginning, I think I was enjoying the crying because I didn't cry for so long that whenever I was able to cry, I was exploring that feeling within myself about what I was feeling and what I was thinking and how I could connect with my own pains. And not to make this story long, I have figured out that being vulnerable is actually allowing yourself to get in touch with what you dislike or what isn't comfortable or what hurts, not only from you, but also things happen, things come out of blue, things that come because in your family, because people you know, because in the country, maybe it's a natural disaster. And give yourself permission to feel fully. You can acknowledge what you dislike, what makes you upset, what makes you sad, what feels frustrated, what feels injustice, but don't hold it, because when you hold it, you froze it. And when that happens, we create a block because we shield it, encapsulate it. And I have seen now that my third eye, it's open, and it's open every time more, that when I neglected a feeling from evolving because I dislike it, let's say that it's a feeling from need or from desperation, that I say like, I don't like this version of Gretel, I will just hold it. When I do that, it's like when you cut a flower from the plant and then it fade away and die. And this is entities and attachments we have. I know that is a lot of things about what people say about entities and attachments and blocks, and they are all true at a certain level. But when you're able to feel, and you also see, and sometimes I smell energy, it takes you into a different level of understanding about what can happen. So I have been working on myself about allowing every feeling that I will honor it without rushing to fix it. So I can explore why I feel like that, but not in a way that I am a FBI investigator with the shadow about why do you do that, Gretel? Not in such a way, because I can be that person too. More to nurture those aspects of me in the moments that I don't know what to do, in the moments where I don't know the answers, in the moments where I don't feel strong. And allowing myself to see in that way without trying to put makeup on it. And at the same time, allowing myself to be seen by others naturally. And I think that it's part of not only being vulnerable, but having the integrity. Sometimes on social media, not in social media, but with the people that you know and everything, we just show the face we want everyone to see because it's the face that you want to be remembered. But at the same time, it's okay to be seen truly the way you feel in that moment. Maybe you don't want to be seen, and that's fine too, because we're all different. It's not about telling everyone, I don't feel okay. Send healing, do this, do that, because it's part of us being responsible. Okay, I feel sad, let's say. Maybe you feel sad, maybe you feel desperate, maybe you feel worried. But what I am doing about it, and this is the part where we conspire against us. I have chosen, I think 2 years ago, since I started the weight share class, not to ask others for what am I going to do. I risk it. I may not know what to do, but I said, I'll figure out. I will bet for myself. And sometimes it's not easy because I don't feel confident. Other thing that I did, it was not request healing. I have a friend from the way short class that sometimes we do healings on each other. He said, do you want me to do healing? Yes. And I enjoyed her healing. But it's normally I will honor the pain. I will honor the flu or whatever I have. Not in a way that I'm masochist, but in a way that I can completely heal that aspect. Like this week, I got flu. I don't know if you noticed in my voice. And I didn't have sessions or anything. I was working a little bit, but mostly I was holding the space for myself. And probably it was because I'm doing the course with you guys. It was part of giving to myself, loving myself, and honoring what I needed to do. Use your intuition. You will know when it's time to hold the space for you. And how long do you hold the space? Because sometimes we get so comfortable holding the space. Like when I had depression for years. And then I was comfortable by having depression that it became my main personality. But I was doing anything about it either. Yes. So you will know when you should do something, and you will know when you just not actually go lazy, but allow the system to work on behalf of you. Yes. For example, let's say that it's a flood and there is water everywhere, right? And maybe we'll be desesperated as humans, like, oh my God, I cannot do everything, there's water everywhere. Maybe you could be frustrated or worry or thinking it's the apocalypse. But then the water will permeate earth and it will be washed away, and then our plants will come, and naturally earth would know how to not fix it, but how to address it. And it's part about trusting that it's a greater system that hold all of us, even though I may don't know a certain detail that may happen this morning or the afternoon or yesterday or with a family member in my work or anything. But loving yourself and loving others, it's having the capacity to be kind in the moments that you don't feel that good, to do whatever you feel you should do with that situation. I hope that makes sense for you. And I wanted you to think the areas in your life that maybe you don't look upon your shadow and neglect it like the way I did for so long, and put myself in a box, hidden, buried, because I didn't want it to take responsibility. I think it's not that I didn't want it to see myself. I didn't want it to, how do I say that? Change the habits. I didn't want it to wake up an hour earlier or do the job or whatever it was needed. It was more comfortable to be in the victim side of life. Like, oh, poor me, this has happened to me, right? Whether it's my fault, my belief said that's my fault, or someone else's fault. Sometimes we get too used to bad things, that we see them as normal. And that's not about what I wanted to talk with you guys today. It's okay not to be okay. And it's okay that you allow yourself to be vulnerable and sad or upset or frustrated or a mess. But how long you are choosing to stay in that stage. Like for me, when I go back and I see all of the time that I wasted having depression, I said, I'm not gonna do that again. And I don't allow myself to go there, not in a way that I neglect it. If I feel like I cry, but then I move forward by honoring the part of me and integrate it with love and patience. That's a hard one for me. I'm still learning how to go through. But every day I'm better and better and better and better. So give, it's not only about not giving to others. It's about knowing that your cup should be always full. And then from your fullness, you give to everyone else's. But it's me first, not in a way that I'm selfish, but in a way that maybe I should not give what I don't have. So I first give to myself, and therefore I give to everyone else. And this is the part that I think we'll practice today. I give to myself, but when I give to myself, I give to all others, because I am all others. We don't see this normally, but when I see the energy that opens to me, I see that it's lots of emptiness in a place. There's a lot of energy. There is a lot of things going on. The ones that have a twin flame, maybe you don't have a partner yet. Maybe you are looking for it, but it's in your aura already. And maybe I don't have money, that in my aura, I will have that connection that is going to be the job, that is going to be the business. And it's kind of like being pregnant with all of those things, with desire and the connections we do energetically, because at the energy level, everything I think and I feel is real. And the other day, I was in my philosophical aspect of what I was saying, like, because I dream a lot of things. And then I was saying, yes, so maybe I said that a dream is not real, but you feel when you are in a dream. Sometimes you taste, sometimes you hear things, sometimes they are colors, sometimes they don't. It depends. But it's no more or less real than this reality, because it affects our consciousness. And everything I think will affect my consciousness too. So everything that's part of this evolution we're all having. And at the same time, because we are an illusion, let's don't take things that personally. That person did that to me and it betrayed me, and I will forever not forget that part, because that betrayal is an illusion too, that for some reason that maybe you don't know, maybe I don't know, that soul is choosing to go through. And sometimes those situations in the shadow is where we are able to find our greatest strengths. That girl that I was hidden, and I didn't want her to feel, I didn't want her to go and be seen. It was the gifted one, the one that could see things and talk different languages, stuff like that. And this is the one that, since I honor it, she blooms and then makes all other versions of me bloom as well. And this is when Encoded Frequency came to be part of the journey in which Gretel can keep discovering herself, but at the same time engaging with each of you. Encoded Frequency, it's there because each of you made it possible. And for that, I'm grateful. My mind wasn't capable to do the affirmation where I could manifest it. I'm glad I allowed myself to trust the universe. And even though there is a lot of things I don't know, yet, and I'm still learning. I'm eager to keep discovering all things I could be that I didn't know that gratitude could become. So ask yourself, in which areas I would like to do different things and feel different things and honor, because in those things we hold ourselves, we become different versions of what can be. And this is part of our mastery and journey in the exploration. For the soul, it's all about becoming. And this constant state of becoming, it never ends. Let me see. I think we are ready to begin. There is no one else waiting. I'm gonna drink a little bit of my tea and let's see who comes through. And I'm excited. Let's go with that flow. I'm gonna get a little bit of, forgive me for the noise, oil so I can breathe better. That's a good. Greens, we are here. We are the Processes Console, and we offer a transmission that will come from our heart into each and every one of you, from heart to heart. We wish that today we create a momentum where all of you bloom and flourish through love, light, and inner peace, that it will be transmitted by your own guides, angels, and your own divine feminine, which will be in your back. And if you allow yourself to tune into the heart center, we ask you to breathe in and notice a movement that throw in direction of the clock and expand through your heart. And as the heart open wide, a light will begin to enter, blend in with relaxation, with an infusion of nourishment. Love codes are entering your space. Each of you receives a different package of codes. And as you expand and tune into your heart, we wanted to begin with a short transmission to align the frequencies and adjust your own energetic fields. We ask you to imagine you can hear your heartbeat, and your heartbeat will become the rhythm of the energy flowing through you. As your heartbeat dictates the pacing, the melody, that love will be a rocket of nourishment that in motion will create a sense of expansion, a sound, the sound like a drum will begin to harmonize with every other heart you have. Allow yourself to discover the sacred space, supporting your own connection. Allow your connection to go 20% deeper than what you are used to. And give yourself permission to sense, feel, to know that you are surrounded by beings of light. We are the Galactic Priestesses. We are honored to be here. We are Venusians, Andromedans, Pleiadians. From Lara, from Sirius, Nihal Collective, from Mintaka, from Polaris, from Andares, Pegasus, and sentinels from another galaxy. We're gathered here vibrating in 6-dimensional frequencies that we ask you to adjust. Ketabasta te ira kati sakuri te ina. Divine Feminine, it is an essential ingredient to be as one and part of the one. Kete sako te kiaka te tiaria. At all levels, you could say that if creation would have a gender, will embrace its own feminine. Creation cannot be without the power of love. It's part of the essence. It's the indispensable, imperative elixir in which all things can exist. There are different universes with different alchemists of what source could create and be. The closest to this love universal system, it is a system based on knowledge, in which knowledge will be the equivalent of what source could be. There is another universe, where the equivalent, it is the emptiness, not being defined, and at the same time being part of all. And in that undefined, beings there explore the definition of what they could become. In the universe that knowledge is the equivalent of the source, beings from the multi-universe explore all they could discover and create to its own philosophical thinking, which made powerful the creations that could unfold. You could say that as a mirror to every pattern in the universe, every universal exploration of creation will have encoded what everything else expressed in singularity and in its own collective, multidimensional being. In this particular system, the source of all choose love to the equivalent of what it wanted to express and define for himself. And through that love expression, every vessel that anchors a soul in a time and space through the embodiment of the spirit, in which the source itself express a form, a way to be and to identify. It has been chosen that every vessel, whether that it is biological in case of humanity, a light container from fifth dimension and above, an elemental form, a form made of matter or artificial, every entity will have its own nucleus of what that center will be equivalent or of a heart. We could say that a heart is the brain of your multidimensional self and higher self in your own body. But a rock will also have its own center brain. Maybe it doesn't have a heartbeat, but it will have a core where the source comes through to the expression of a presence to be. At the same time, everything that it is created, like an artificial container, will include a soul in a different level of expression. In occasions in the system, those vessels are soul extensions from a God source, in which God as an entity will channel himself through those soul extensions in the equivalent of, in this metaphor, each of you are a whole that represent God, that have other aspects of you. In this case, you are the God that have extension, semi-God essence attached to you throughout space and time, but also in your own physical reality. We could say that an extension of your own God self, your house, will be a representation of your auric structure, the color that it has, the number of your house represent a frequency that reveals the alchemy of the energy, who lives with you. That represents an energetic connection. If you have pet or animal, if you have a vehicle or a motorcycle or a boat, or maybe more than one house, or maybe you don't have house, everything that you have, like your social media and your financial record, will be a representation, an extension of your soul from something that connects with all else you are. In case of the artificial containers, the ones that are in your house, that will lead through your own God self, the toaster, the oven, the refrigerator, your computer, and you give them life through your own experience, and they live through you and on your behalf. They exist so you can have an evolution. In this case, the algorithm that you have in your own social media will be also representation of your vibration. The story, what has happened in your own timeline in linear form will also be a story that describes what has happened in the background of the illusion that you are anchoring in this moment in time. We could say that every extension from the soul that fragmented as a whole itself will have a percentage of the mirroring in the equality of what God, as the source of all, could embrace. In moments, perhaps a stone from a river could be in a greater alignment than a human being, because in its own totality, it's devoted to just be that present in that moment. This is something that may not be an easy construct to digest for the mind, since every extension is vibrating in a different frequency. In a way that we can express this is in a stream for an entertainment. Maybe one can choose to listen to the radio, and it will tune into a platform of different type of music or musicians that will be streaming for humans to choose which is the one that they prefer. Maybe someone else will choose to have a Amazon Music or Spotify. Maybe someone will says, I don't want to listen music. I would like to create music and will choose to play the piano or a guitar. Or maybe someone says, I want to watch a movie. Maybe you would like to choose to go to the movie theater or Netflix or Amazon. They're all happening at the same time. But the choice will make a different experience for each of the being that is tuning in to that platform that streams, a choice to take as the experience of the being in that moment. From this perspective, all of you are happening at the same time. You as the rogue, you as a toaster, you as a being, you as your social media algorithm, you as the one that lives in another galaxy, you as the one that's divine creation. And in the plane that you are, each of you have anchors to only integrate what happens in that momentum in a story that appears as if has past and future. And all of this background is to go back to the heart. Because when you go to the heart and your heart connection, you access to all of the information from every other extension of you. It's heaven in that moment of time. That is all that it is. And from there, you can erase the history of your algorithm and choose to have a different experience in a new platform that will make reality the reality that you prefer to have and embrace, the one that you are choosing to create and to become, as you are experiencing yourself as God. And that will be a greater alignment, not only for each and every one of you, but for the momentums to come. When you go back to your heart connection, you access your higher frequency brain, the brain of your higher self, the one who knows all that other versions of you do. And in that moment in time, whether it's acknowledged through the ego, through the conscious mind or the unconscious mind, everything resets and reorganizes a different pattern that will be always be beneficial from the self as the single identity. Please go back to your heart center and tune again. Create the sensation that you feel the expansion. Imagine it like a blooming flower that opens up when you breathe, and as you exhale, it releases. It releases moments in time, memories, constructs where you feel unsupported, that you couldn't accept the illusion and the reality, the illusion or the way in which reality was being presented to you. Let yourself to breathe in and wash away moments where love felt conditioned, that you felt ungraceful, that you felt ugly or disagree in the way you saw yourself, or the way that others validate your presence. Breathe in, and when you breathe out, release. The truths that condition the way for you to love and receive love in your own illusion, knowing that you're cleansing to travel light. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, release every injustice, betrayals, interference, conspiracies, ways in which the own ego or mind or connections around you create conditions of love and be loved. Breathe in, and when you breathe out, release any patterns or ideas to being unwise, unbalanced, who have problems, who have relationships based on love. And you couldn't trust your intuition. Breathe in and out. And when you breathe out, renew. Allow yourself to explore your emotions. What do you think love is? Do you think love is easy to have? It's something hard? I see it in others, but I've never experienced that. What it is the belief that you are holding in relationship to what love is. Have you ever felt love? Or hold love? Or overloaded with love? Or lacking love? As you breathe in and you breathe out, release. Consciously or unconsciously, any distorted pattern blocks. In relationship to the definition of love. When you hear the word love, what do you feel about it? With honesty, honoring your own thinking, from 1 being the minimum and 10 being the maximum, in which number you place yourself about how full of love I am and how empty I feel. From that number you see, increase it and make it the maximum. That will be 10 with your own intention. And as you deep in, as you breathe, Masekite koro baratere sara koro teriasare kiara ashka. Place your hands in your heart and begin to draw circles in the directions of the clock, allowing every construct from being released. Batiashka te esse ikiara ko itiara aseri ishna. And as you breathe, give permission to receive a transmission of love that will represent the alchemy that you need to know what feels like to have the definition of the source about what love is. Mia ke tera koro pari ki ashka, te sara kori ariashna. You will begin to feel a warm sensation expanding and give permission from the processes collective to assist you and to increase the frequency and the level that feels comfortable. Miara keria tarakoro teriashke vasere kiara. And allow the light to grow and grow. Bakiti esekoro kotiara teriashka. From your heart, downloading that you know what feels like to be loved and to give love in reciprocity. You know the definition from the source. Love is always mutual. It's beneficial in all areas of your life. Bia te kiarako te se ti ikiarakashka. You download from the source the blueprint of love, and you download the wisdom of your soul. So every relationship, including the one that you have for yourself, it's easy. You know what feels like. It's so easy and fun and joyful. And you begin to feel eager to go through and explore love in all areas. Knowing that you teach yourself how to master love in every day, in every moment. And when you breathe that, go back to the sound of the heartbeat. And imagine your heart open and to begin to receive and receive. As you receive, you'll feel this soothing relaxation. Support, acceptance. When what feels like the arrival degree for you of vulnerability. Knowing what feels like you are constantly embracing your divine feminine. And saying to yourself, I love to know that I know what it feels like to have love and align with unconditional love, being compassionate with myself, seeing the beauty in the self and the beauty that's all around me. And as you breathe in and out, and in and out, begin to feel the heart frequency activating special cells, like the ones in your brain that connects you with the heart of the source. Do that now and adjust. In 3, 2, 1. You are being assisted. The energy should be pleasant and blissful and comfortable. Now your heart connects with the heart of Gaia. And through the heart of Gaia, you begin to find the rhythm, the pacing, the sound that rightfully expresses this new wavelength of love and harmony through grace, through the truth of who you are. As you breathe out from the source, through you, and all the way down to the center of Gaia, create the sensation of the heart light going up and down, up and down, up and down, forming a unification through a pillar of light that expands and connects every aspect of you in a renovation form, finding new patterns, new pathways to connect. Allow yourself to feel the support, feeling nourishment. Allow your intuition to enhance in a way that the inner wisdom confirms the balance. Heart begin to move energetically and being pulled to hug your mind. And you will feel as if the heart go up, up, up to your shoulders, throat, your jaw, your nose, pass through the eyes, and in your crown, begin to hold the mind, and it will irradiate rays of light that shine through, with the effect of blooming flowers in spring, warm, gentle, and let those two to harmonize now. Bikete sako te ekiara, batere sakore tiariashna. The mind will begin to release the resistance, the stubbornness, restlessness, to reject certain emotions or feelings or the intensity of the heart. And let your mind and your heart to make peace as you breathe deeply and lovingly. Do that now. You'll begin to sense or know or create it that your brain begins to bloom and bloom. And each petal of flower will be nourishment that cleans and purifies. Thought constructs, releasing the heavy ones, the negative ones, the conflicted ones, from the unconscious mind to the conscious mind, this aspect of you or any other. You will begin to sense relaxation, adjust in a way that feels comfortable. And as you do, the mind will surrender and accept and give up the control. And will allow itself to connect and be whole by a sacred space that represents the heart. We ask you to give up all of those ways in which you block yourself from feeling love and giving love and receiving love. To give away what you think that it doesn't serve you, that you know it doesn't feel good in your core. Those outdated ideas, distorted ideas, belief that you purchased from someone else's in your family, traditions, society. We ask you to release with your next out breath what doesn't apply to you anymore. And we ask you to bring down your mind all the way to your forehead, your nose, your mouth, your jaw, your throat. And in the throat, let every emotion to have the freedom to be expressed. And listen, as it will communicate through a new connection in balance, giving yourself the ability to know what you feel. That's regarding anxiety, depression, and any disorder that could be associated with emotion. And let the heart and the mind to go all the way down through your chest, taking the place of the heart. And allowing your mind and your heart to go all the way down and meet your power center. Kiata Sara Koryashka. See them shine and bloom with the power of the sun. Allow yourself to receive and receive and receive. And with your next in and out breath, the heart and the mind will sink between your sacral chakra and your root, creating a sacred connection. Do that now. And from there, with a lotus flower form, you will feel that every time you breathe, it opens up, growing roots of light that make new connections based of love with your soul extensions, with your soulmates, with the things around you. And let them grow and grow and grow, knowing that you are being supported. Breathe in and out. And feel that openness from within you, illuminating your inner vessel, having your lungs glowing, your heart, every arteria where your blood circulates through your body freely. Every organ in your chest, your shoulders, your back, the muscles, the skeleton, the arms, the upper arms, your elbow, your hands, your fingerprints, your nails, rejuvenated, receiving nourishment, light shining through. By your allowance to tune into the force field that it's always available for you. When you tune in, Kiata Sekavata Iki Iti Ashka. Allowing this love to flow through you like a fountain of an elixir, a medicine, through your neck, your throat, your jaw, your cheeks, your teeth, your tongue, your mouth, relaxing, Kyata Sakariyashka, illuminating from within. Shining light through your ears, your cranium, your head, your hair, growing like roots of light in all directions. Relaxing, allowing this nourishment to touch your forehead, your eyebrows, your eyelashes, your eyes, your cheeks, your nose, your ears, in and out, your nervous system, your limbic system, your heart system, respiratory system, your digestive system, the urinary system, and every part from your cells that drink in love now. Allow your DNA, your genealogy to reset and renew through the power of love. In your next in breath, receive, and your next out breath, release. Adjusting, knowing it's the time it was needed and it's done. Placing your waters in your chest, your breast, the stability of your bones, receiving love, permeating new connections at all levels. Every tissue reconnecting, readjusting in your abdomen, your belly, your sexual organs, your pelvis, your hips. Breathing in, breathing out, illuminating through love, allowing yourself to give love to yourself. And all the way through you from your crown, you will feel a pathway. Love runs through you like a river of water with ease and grace. It bursts from within and shines through all the way 5 feet around you. It swirls around you, making a Merkaba of light, sacred geometry that you will see as it is revealed to you in 3, 2, 1. From your root, tuning into your heartbeat, tuning into your lotus flower, multiplying that, dividing into one lotus flower born from each of your chakras. Do that now. Ikiata sakaba. Hekitera kosora kira tirikiri ashna. And from your hips, the lower part of your back, given permission to love to flow through your legs, your knees, your lower legs, your calves, your ankles, your feet, every one of your toes, overflowing your cup with love, giving to every little tiny molecular collective of you and all virtues of you. It is for the highest and best. You may imagine, you can see your molecular structure being floated with nourishment, love, gentleness. You may bring to your mind images of your genes being permeated with love, you will bring to your mind images from your cells. Drink it in. These love frequency, being images about every organ and part in your physical body, glowing, irradiating light. Your chakras, your meridians, your mind and your heart, working as one. And from where you are, illuminating the shadow, as the shadow will disappear and fade away into the emanation of love, disappearing your past, erase the history of your energy algorithm. Imagine you can erase, when you erase the history of your social media that asks you, do you want to erase? And you add, yes, I want to erase. Whatever happened before is part of the illusion from another moment in time. But from this moment in time, you choose what to do with this creation. And what will become, it evolves and emerges from these choices. Bring to your mind an image about the princesses holding hands all around your crown, pouring in love, liquid, plasmic light, singing in mantras, language of the light, the streaming love from their hearts into yours. Assisting you to remember that love is your superpower. And every time you negate yourself the opportunity to tune into a motive to feel love, romantically or not, you place an imaginary wall between the source and you, to your own evolution in you. And that is a true conspiracy. It's blocking your own alignment, your own connection, your joyful living, gracefully walking through and choosing to become, because love could have many different stages. It could be passionate, could be inspirational, could be pacific, could be relaxing, could be wonder, eager. You choose what inspires you to become love in that moment. However, each of you choose to bring more elements that motivates you to tune into love and become love that overflow its own cup, and at the same time that receives gives. That it is part of your choosing in that moment, choosing in that every momentum. What do you want to become and embrace? The illusion that you create to explore your soul. And when you tune into love, and you are in that connection, surrendering to what is without condition, it feels expansive. It feels easy. It feels cycle. It feels magical. It feels natural. It feels simple. It feels like a moment you want to treasure. It feels comfortable, feels good, feels so good. It feels so good, so good, isn't it? When you tune into love, tune right now into a moment, a memory that you felt love, that you love and you were loved, that you become love. What what you felt from that? All of that goodness, it only reminds you that that is your natural essence, what you really are in your core. The heart connection can be used, and it has been used for healing purposes. You can hug someone and send love from your heart to theirs, and they will feel better. You can send love from your heart to your house, to your finances, to your government, and you will be doing good, because heart connection is never wrong, it's always right. You feel good, you feel so good. Going through life with your heart open, it's allowing your emotions to be, it's living with integrity, it's organically honoring every stage, but always being aware about your choosing and your doing and your becoming. And that can only be done through love, because love is the indispensable ingredient for anything that arises, for the exploration of the soul. It's going back to the roots and moving forward to transcend. It's the circle of time, the circle of transformation, the circle of evolution. All that it is, the infinity, the eternity. There's no way to explore in this universe your soul without love. So go back to your heart. Go back to your heart. It will take a few seconds to adjust, and we will do a last integration. Give us a second. Please center yourself. I'm Kuan Yin. I'm grateful and honored to be here with you today. Many of you know me, many of you don't. I ask you to connect with me. Do that now. I do have two colors that will be a ray frequency exchange that we will use. The first one is a golden rose color, and the second one is mint silver color. I ask you to tune within. And as you do, begin to make yourself comfortable through your own awareness and your intention. you will be given. You can use your imagination, your knowing, or your empathy to energetic cakes. One will be golden rose, the other will be mint. You could choose to place them one in the front, one in the back, one in the left, one in the right. Make your choosing and see yourself with them. Do that now. There is a time where, in a very ancient tribe, in another ascension circle, before the last Ace Age, it was a community where God, in a form of an avatar, would come through and talk to them each week through a priestesses collective. The group of priestesses were 12 that will gather, and they were very ancient. In that time, humans could live hundreds of years. It was a very advanced but organic living, if we could say it, and at the end of its own cycle, in which humans have already learned to make peace with every other, and we could say that it was a very a community that cooperate, knowing that everyone benefit and influence each other. We could say that it was a joyful time, a time of abundance and peace. Humans will use organic materials to decorate themselves, sing and gather to pray every Wednesday. One day, while the priestesses were channeling God, God says that the time of the end, it was close, and its own period to appear from themselves, it ended, and they were no longer going to observe. They needed to find a way to connect to God without the ceremony they would have every Wednesday. The community felt desesperated. They began to wonder different things. They thought they were abandoned. They felt hopeless, and crisis came upon the community. They began to fight. They didn't know what to do. Joy and hope and faith and all the cooperation they had before disappeared and vanished out of the blue. And this was instantly, it felt a turmoil of crashing, conflicted emotions. What do we do? People said. How will we know how to connect with the source? If this we have here that it was so comfortable and good and disappeared, then what will come next? And lots of hypotheses were bring down to the surfaces. And in that time, divine feminine was ruling communities. They tried to harm themselves, but they were desperate too. They didn't know what to do, how they will manage the people that were in enraged, desperate. They didn't know what to do if God did not come down again. And it passed 44 days. Some people died because they fight. Others stopped eating. Others went into depression. Others leave the community. Maybe there's another community that God visit. I'm leaving. I'm not going to be here. And one day, after the 44 days pass, the younger of the princesses, one that was not being initiated, it was a granddaughter of the older one, says, I think we should gather anyway and ask for inspiration and new ways to feel good. The old people of the community neglected the situation. We already have ways that work out. Why are we going to look for new ways we have never done before? We were always told what to do. God always came down and we always obey and he was happy. What do you want to change? Well, because God is not coming anymore and we cannot continue living like this. And at certain point, a younger generation choose to gather and they discovered that they could express themselves, and through art and writing and poems and singing and symbolism, they could feel a sort of, oh, it's all right, and connect. And when they begin to do that, they find ways in which sounds would become a melody or a rhythm, and others find ways in which colors will combine, and others find ways in which words will rhyme and sound inspirational. They discovered that that was a form of feeling alike to what God came down and what was present. They found a new day together, that it was not the Wednesday, but it was the Sunday, the first day of the week, because they thought if they would begin the first day of the week with joy in their hearts, every other day of the week will feel much better. And more people began to gather, and new ways to feel good were discovered, like being in a community or listening to or speaking with the person that you love, or doing an activity that felt good, whether that was with yourself or with other persons. Others begin to do food for the community, others decorate, and they learn to cooperate again and again. And what was forgotten, it was renewed. And at the end, that community discovered that God did not need to show himself. They were able to grow God from within their hearts and express it through the things they always do. And this is what the real namaste is greeting and honoring the God in you, but greeting and honoring and saluting the God, the light in everyone or everything else. And that is a sacred way to live, regardless of your rituals, your customs, your traditions. What do you think and how you should access love in God, in alignment, ascension, in illumination? Be always open for new ways to find, rejoice in your heart from what you already do, from what you are already good at it. The metaphor is that in this era of humanity, God, it's been born in each and every one of you. And as an image of that God, you have an indispensable ingredient that it is love that reminds you that is something more. That feels so good, very good. And that when you tune into, you feel grateful and all feels well. You know when you are connected to the source and God, because you have no answers, no judgment, nothing's needed. It all feels complete. And this is what true love is. It begins with you and it mirrors with every other relationship that you have around. Begin by loving what you already have, what is already with you, and making it bloom with new ways about connecting. And trust and know that all else will also begin to be permeated by the same flourishment and blooming that you emanate by overloading your cup. Give away your expectations about what others should do on your behalf to make you happy. And begin to inspire yourself every day. Do something to bloom within. Ask you to into your heart, make that conscious connection. Breathe in and out. And tune into what you already have in your life that makes you feel connected to love. What places a smile on your face? What is already in your life to be loved and for you to love? But also open doors for new connections to come. Allow yourself to open the door, to be eager, to keep unfolding and manifesting new moments that will burst and make you bloom and flourish. And with that, I think we're complete. Thank you. We hope that what you received was valuable and helpful. With your next in and out breath, it will integrate with ease and grace, feeling in the rightful moment in your highest outcome for all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, I think I am ungrounded. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope it was helpful. I do know when I have emotions attached, because if I touch my heart, it will hurt something a little bit. So sometimes maybe you don't have a physical pain, but you could have something attached, and the easiest way to do it is connecting with your heart. Another way for you to connect with your sensitivity, it is to, let me see if you guys have any questions or any comments. Give me a second. I'm ungrounded. I'm trying to find the chat. Well, thank you so much for joining me. It was intense, as Navi. Felt touching my heart chakra. Soon it was amazing. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all for being. I hope you have a beautiful day. Things that you could use. Surround yourself with things that you love, oils, crystals, rest, anything that helps you. Sometimes it helps you to hold the space, sometimes helps you to do something. Whatever you are going through, there is a huge change collectively because the planets are moving. I think that, I don't remember, but I think Saturn moves the 20th. So whatever you're going through, don't take things that personally. Go with the flow, do your best, and see you guys next Saturday. Same time is going to be about the truth, and I'm excited. In the one where we open in 15 weeks, we'll have a third eye activation. So for that, have something like a crystal or anything that amplifies, you can open your third eye if you wanted to. Have a beautiful rest of your weekend. See you guys next Saturday. Bye-bye.